for daily fantasy. His number too high, then I'm probably fading him. He been on the road, he gon' eat up my salary. I hit up by, he gon' lie before lock. Play back to back, then I probably won't pick on the Dfs Bachelor, good as it gets. Build a few liners and hit me a leg. He had a good game, but it might be a trick. Log in the Slack so I know who to pick. Sharing our liners, we all gon' get rich. New to this game, you should come to the pad. You might want some cash and get a good laugh. Dfs Sports, we gon' run up a bag. He heard every game and it's making me mad. You buying your lineups, I think you a cheater. Dfs Bachelor, he the new leader. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Bachelor Pad. I, of course, am your host, the Dfs Bachelor. And we're going to go over our Monday Night Football 2-game slate for both Fanduel and Draftkings. This video is coming out a little bit late because we wanted to make sure, of course, that the Chiefs-Patriots game was going to be played. There were no more positive tests, and that looks like that is a go. So we got a 2-gamer on Monday Night Football. First things first, a big cheers to you all. Thank you all so much for your support. It's a coffee and Bailey's type of morning. Had some rough lineups yesterday, but I got bailed out in the afternoon. I had a lineup go absolutely berserk. So I ended up making a profit, and which was probably my worst day picking players. Honestly, I ended up making a profit. I got really lucky, so thank you to the fantasy gods. So I hope you all had a good weekend too. No doubt my Millionaire Maker Core 4 was terrible. Wilson and Dalton Schultz were great. I finally get points out of the tight end. And then, of course, Tyler Lockett and Kenyon Drake. The biggest window licker of the day is Kenyon Drake. He's on my shit list. You'll never hear me tell you to play him again. And if I do, make sure you blast me in the comment sections. But no, seriously, thank you for your support. Thanks for making me a part of your day. I truly do appreciate it. I hope you all had a wonderful, safe, and good weekend. Also, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the team. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Get all of our content, and I have links in the video description to other places. I'll be at Sportsbook Review 4 times a week. We'll be live tonight at 6:45 Eastern Time, a half hour before that first Monday night game, and we'll be on for that entire game and about half of the Packers-Falcons game. So lots of live content over there, live tomorrow there as well. So be sure to hit subscribe. I appreciate that. Like the video. That helps the show more than you know. And simply by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and leaving a comment in the comment section, you qualify for our $50 PayPal giveaway brought to us by our friends over at Tax Relief Advocates, making your tax debt disappear faster than my 16 parlays hopes of winning yesterday. A big you to the Houston Texans. You can go yourselves. God, Bill O'Brien sucks. That whole team sucks. Give them a call at 1-800-411-9633. Very easy to qualify, and we announce that winner every Saturday morning on our final look. And, of course, my friends over at Overlay DFS, overlaydfs.com. Tons of fun. The new matchup shop. You can parlay your plays, etc. So that's a lot of fun over there. And if you want my player pool, cheat sheet, rankings, projections, all of that, you can click that link in the video description below, and you can try Draft Dashboard 30 days for $1. I've got my MLB picks, NBA, and of course NFL for every slate as well. So let's get into this 2-gamer. So we've got the Chiefs hosting the Patriots and the Packers hosting the Falcons. Some big injury news also came out this morning. Devonte Adams, it looked like he was going to play. Now, apparently the team is holding him out, and he's not very happy about it, sending out a tweet saying that apparently doctors know his body better than he knows his own body. He's since deleted that tweet, but it looks like they're holding out Devonte Adams. So even though the Falcons allow the most fantasy points in the league to opposing quarterbacks, they're an absolutely dreadful defense, it makes it a little nerve-wracking now playing Aaron Rodgers because his weapons are going. Alan Lazard is also out. So you're going to have, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Malik Taylor, Darius Shepard. I mean, these are the receivers. I think that's all the receivers on the roster. They're probably going to have to bring someone up from the practice squad. I don't know if Jake Kumaro is still around, but he's not even on the slate. So we'll have to see there. So it makes that a little bit more dicey for Aaron Rodgers. You got Pat Mahomes at 7-6 on DraftKings and on FanDuel. Same price on both sites. I actually like Patrick Mahomes. The problem is how much pressure is New England going to put on him to score with Cam Newton out and Brian fucking Hoyer at quarterback? I mean, the Chiefs aren't going to have to do much to win this football game. So both Mahomes and Rodgers now sort of scare me. I still have Rodgers ranked ahead of Mahomes, and you get to Matt Ryan. Now, he had a bad game last week, but he's still going to throw the ball an absolute ton. The Packers 19th against opposing quarterbacks, 6-2 on DraftKings, 7-9 on FanDuel. Looks like all of his players are going to play. Julio, Russell Gage, and Calvin Ridley. Looks like all three are going to play. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at Dfs Bachelor. As soon as I know for sure, I'll put it up there, but it looks like they're trending upward. So you like all three of those guys to play. Of course, you worry about Ridley showing up later with some calf issues after the ankle issue, but he's trending in the right direction. Julio, Ridley, and Gage should all be in. So right now, I'd probably rank it just based on matchup alone. You have to go Rodgers 1, Ryan 2, Mahomes 3. Now, Mahomes can light up any secondary. You just wonder, they could get up pretty early and not have to throw the football as much to hang on to this lead, and it is one of the better secondaries in the league. So that's why I would rank it that way. I'll have exposure to all three quarterbacks. Brian Hoyer can piss off. I'll never play Brian Hoyer. That's just, you could play him if you're playing 100 lineups and you want to throw him in, go ahead. That lineup's not going to be the first place lineup. Although I may have just jinxed it into fucking reality. So there's that. There you go. For those of you who play Brian Hoyer, you're welcome. I just gave you the universal mojo that you need, if you will. At running back, Aaron Jones, of course. He's going to be heavily involved now in the passing game. He's probably their most dangerous receiving target now with Devonte Adams and Lazard out. Aaron Jones, 7-3 DraftKings, 8-2 Fanduel. I like Aaron Jones. The Falcons, 13th against running backs. You can do whatever you want to this Falcons defense. They're a terrible, terrible defense. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think it's too cheap. And I think in a game where they are ahead, they're at home, they don't need to score a ton to beat this team. You're going to see a lot of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 6'2" on both sides. I like Clyde Edwards-Helaire quite a bit. Todd Gurley, the Packers have been destroyed by running backs, and what's new? That's what they did last year as well. This team's very, very similar to the team last year. The only real difference is that Aaron Rodgers has been pissed off and playing lights out. He's 5'5" on DraftKings, 6'6" on FanDuel. Green Bay allowing the third most fantasy points in the league to opposing running backs right now. Still playing 54% of the snaps, getting between 15 and 20 touches a week. So yeah, I like Todd Gurley. For New England, Sony Michel has been ruled out. So it's Rex Burkhead and James White. Looks like he's going to be back this week after that horrible tragedy with his parents that happened, of course, right before that Sunday night game in Seattle. So we wish him the best. That's just absolutely horrible. But it looks like he's back with the team. So you're going to see Burkhead and James White. How does that affect the two running backs? They certainly love to rely on their running backs in this game with Brian Hoyer at quarterback and the strength of the Chiefs' defense, quite frankly, being their secondary. It's tough. I don't think you need to get down that low, but I have some consideration for them both. I'd probably prefer James White right now. It looks like he'll resume his receiving back role. If you're looking for like a dart throw, looking to try to be different, it is a 2-game slate. You do want to leave salary on the table if you're playing those tournaments. A guy like Brian Hill has shown some big upside. He's playing about 27% of the offensive snaps. He's getting, last week he had 9 carries and 3 targets, turned one of them into a touchdown, sitting at 4,200 on DraftKings and 5-1 on FanDuel. Again, that's just like a deep dart throw if you're looking to be a little bit different. That'd be the same for like Jamal Williams, like you're hoping for an Aaron Jones injury, then he takes over in the backfield. But really you want to focus on the Jones and the Edwards-Hilaire's, and a little bit of Todd Gurley, maybe James White. But Brian Hill could be a deep tournament sleeper as well. Let's get to the wide receiver spot. Another thing to note, 16-mile-an-hour winds in Green Bay tonight. They're showing, 52 degrees, about 16-mile-an-hour winds. Could be a little bit tougher throwing conditions. It looks like it's much nicer in Kansas City. They're showing 13-mile-an-hour winds, 69 degrees. Interesting night for quarterbacks. So at receiver, we talked about the injuries. Calvin Ridley looks like he's going to play. Julio Jones. Julian Edelman will most likely play. He's always questionable. Again, follow me on Twitter. As soon as I know, you guys will know. I like Calvin Ridley quite a bit now at 6'9". Now, I know it's a calf thing, but listen, the first 3 weeks of the season, 35 targets. I mean, come on. It has nothing less than a 20. The Packers are 19th against opposing wide receivers. When you look at his wide receiver cornerback matchup, he's going to see a ton of either Jair Alexander or Kevin King, who again at 0.32 and 0.31 fantasy points per route ran against. The other Falcons receiver, Russell Gage, down at 4.5 on DraftKings. He's coming back from a concussion. He's absolutely going to play, full practice participant. He is going to see Shandon Sullivan at 0.30. So I like all these Atlanta wide receivers. I especially like that price for Russell Gage. You can get some real value here. You got guys like Watkins at 4.3, Gage at 4.5, and Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who's going to be the de facto number 1 receiver for the Packers tonight at 4,900. So I like all of them. Tyreek Hill, yeah, the Patriots right now 27th against opposing wide receivers. It's kind of surprising. But that is the reality of it. He plays 55% of his snaps in the slot, so he'll see Jonathan Jones unless Stephon Gilmore tries to follow him into the slot, which you might just see him shadow Tyreek or Sammy Watkins. Jonathan Jones giving up 0.45 fantasy points per route ran against. People are attacking the Patriots in the slot, targeting the slot on 29% of his defensive coverage routes. I like Calvin Ridley. I like Tyreek Hill. Julio Jones, I have less of. I know he's healthy and he does have the big upside. He just doesn't look the same. That price is cheap. You'll probably never get Julio Jones that cheap again at $6K and $6,800. So I will have some exposure. I'm just not loading it in to my lineup. When you look at the New England wide receiver cornerback matchup, it's going to be Damiere Byrd on the outside, N'Keal Harry, and Edelman in the slot. Rashad Fenton, Tyrann Mathieu, and Charvarius Ward all giving up 0.28 fantasy points per route ran against or fewer. The Chiefs right now, this year, number one against opposing wide receivers. So I'm not gonna have any of this New England passing game. Let me just put it that way. If they go off, I'll take my loss, but I don't fucking think so. Then we get Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Darius Shepard, and probably Malik Turner are going to be the wide receivers here, or Malik Taylor, excuse me. Malik Turner obviously was a Seahawk. Malik Taylor for Green Bay against this Atlanta secondary, which is 29th against opposing wide receivers. They can't stop anybody. Isaiah Oliver, Beatty Ray Wilson, and Kendall Sheffield is going to be starting in the defensive backfield because they're banged up back there. It's a terrific matchup, so you can get some value. If you want to throw a dart throw on a Malik Taylor or Darius Shepard, I mean, they haven't been playing much, and you might see a lot of two tight end sets, but those would be sort of the guys I would focus on there. And I gave all the wide receiver cornerback matchups, right? Yes, we did. Watkins is probably as low as I'm going. N'Keal Harry at 3.9, I can get there as well. Watkins at 4.3. Just worry about that Stephon Gilmore shadow coverage. But of course, Sammy Watkins is in play. He's more of a boom or bust type of guy. We all know that. But he's still been targeted, 20 times through the first 3 weeks, and it would be even more if he hadn't gotten hurt in that second game against the Chargers when he left with that head injury. So there are some things to watch there, but I like all those wide receivers. Let's go to the tight end position, shall we? Tight end. I mean, Kelsey, of course, is in play. He's in play every week. Patriots good against tight ends, 5th in the league. But it's Travis Kelsey. He's 6'5" on DraftKings and on Fanduel. Now, listen, if I think there's enough value at wide receiver where you can pay up for tight end today, so I don't have much of a problem with that. Hayden Hurst. With a full complement of the weapons back, it makes him a little less attractive. But I still certainly have consideration for him at 4.2 and 5.2. Hasn't been the most explosive play yet this year, but you remember Matt Ryan does love to go to the tight end. You remember the season Austin Hooper was having last year. I think it's only a matter of time before he gets comfortable in this offense. He did have a nice 18 in week 2. Then last week only targeted 3 times. Green Bay 6th against tight ends. But again, it's such a high volume passing game that you have to consider him. Of course, Green Bay's going to need its tight ends now. So Robert Tonyan, 3,800 on DraftKings, 5.5 on FanDuel. Atlanta allowing the second most fantasy points in the league. 2 opposing tight ends, playing 62% of the offensive snaps, sitting there at 3,800. I think Robert Tonyan's a fine low price tight end you could consider as well. And that's really it. I mean, I know you'll probably see more Jay Sternberger, but I mean, how good do you feel about that? Ryan Izzo does play an absolute shit ton of snaps, 86% of the offensive snaps, but he's been targeted 5 times in those snaps. So I'll pass on the Ryan Izzo against the Chiefs as well. And then for the defenses, of course, the Chiefs, it's going to be the most popular defense as well. Facing off against Brian Hoyer, that's the one I'm going to play the most, and so is everybody else. And you could have some consideration for that Packers defense at home. The Patriots, listen, they're playing the best offense in the league, the best quarterback in the league. Chiefs can certainly put up points, but the Patriots are an opportunistic defense. So if there is one mistake made, the Patriots can score on it. So if you're looking for a low-owned tournament flyer, I'd say the Patriots on the road it's a dangerous play. It's not my favorite play, but if you're trying to be different, that's a way that I could consider it as well. So again, that's our look at Monday Night Football. If you want my entire player pool as it adjusts throughout the day, cheat sheet, I have weekly rankings, weekly wide receiver cornerback matchup rankings, best and worst. My NBA player pool will be set, MLB player pool and cheat sheets. Click that link in the video description below. You can try Draft Dashboard for 30 days for $1. When you do, how you find my player pool. Once you've used my link, which is in that little arrow under the video description, click the Watch Players link tab. You'll see a blue box at the top that says Watch DFS Bachelor's Picks, as well as a timestamp of when they last updated. And here, we'll even make a sample lineup on both sides. Why the hell not, right? So let's see what it gave us here. So this gave us a Patty Mahomes lineup. Mahomes, Aaron Jones, James White, Valdez-Scantling, Watkins, Tyreek Hill, Robert Tonyan, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and the Packers defense. We still have 1,600, so you could just be like, give me some Todd Gurley here. Russell Gage right here. I think that's a solid lineup right there. You can even get up to Hayden Hurst right there. Leave 200 on the table. Mahomes, Jones, Gurley, Valdez-Scantling, Gage, Tyreek Hill, Hayden Hurst, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Packers defense. I think that's a solid lineup right there. You can save that. Again, click the link. You can adjust your lineups how you wish to do so. Let's make one over here on Fanduel. Here, let's make one with Aaron Rodgers, shall we? Just for you. For you Packers fans and for you Rodgers fans, and it's a nice matchup. Let's lock him in. So we got Rodgers, Edwards-Helaire, Aaron Jones, Valdez-Scantling, Ridley, Julio Jones, Hayden Hurst, Todd Gurley, and then it went Patriots D. Remember, let's make one with the Chiefs defense. Now we got to save some money here, right? We have got to get some salary savings, so we come here to wide receiver. We can get down to a Russell Gage here. So now we are still 1,400 over. Where else do we want to save? Todd Gurley possibly. Get cheaper here. Go to a Mecole Hardman, a Brian Hill. That's getting real different. That's a way we could do it. Or we could just come down from Calvin Ridley or, Edwards-Helaire here. If we want to, we could go save it running back to a James White. Then we got some salary. Again, click the link. Try it 30 days for $1. Check out my friends at Overlay DFS and Tax Relief Advocates. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment in the comment section. Qualify for the $50 PayPal giveaway. Again, cheers to you all. Thank you all so much for watching. A big fuck you to Kenyon Drake once again. May the fantasy gods be with you all tonight. Have a great Monday. We'll see you all at Sportsbook Review live at 3:45 for 3.5 hours. Come have a couple shots with me. Watch the game. We'll have a good time over there as well. Thank you all again so much. Goodbye, folks.